The other speakers in the break room gave me some pressure. They said, Thomas, you're the first one, you have to break the ice. I said, come on guys, I'm German. How should I do it? So let's start this with acknowledging the great speakers today and the organizers with a big round of applause. Quick question, who here has a mother? Oh, all of you, it turns out. Teachers always say there are no stupid questions, but they might be wrong. Surprise, surprise, I also have a mother, and my mother lives in Germany. And every time she calls me, she will ask the same question. Thomas, warum bist du eigentlich in China? If that sounded aggressive, don't worry. That's German and means, Thomas, I miss you. No, it actually means, Thomas, what the heck are you doing in China? And after a decade of living here, I sometimes still don't have a good answer. But I have the feeling that some of you here also ask that question a lot of time. Maybe not about China, but that question of what am I doing here? Where do I actually belong? And am I in the right place? When the organizers invited me to speak at this event, they told me, Thomas, we want you to talk about Nexus. I said, Nexus? Cool, let's do it. That's my topic. Then I took out my phone and Googled, what does Nexus mean? Turns out, it actually is my topic. A nexus is a point where different worlds collide. And my whole life has been a collision. And for a long time, I was ashamed of that fact. So today I want to show you 3 ways how to turn those collisions in your life into your greatest strengths. Because when I started doing it, I found out my life totally changed. I was born in a German countryside in a Russian-German family. I'm child 6 out of 6. Here you can see myself on the arms of my grandfather and my 5 siblings. My 5 siblings and my parents were all born in the Soviet Union, what is now Kazakhstan. At home, we spoke Russian, German, and a dialect that no one outside of my family could understand. At school, even I was born in Germany, the other kids would call me the Russian. I remember that one time when I called one of my classmates Christian, and he made fun of me because Christian, that's how proper Germans would say it, said, why are you talking so funny? And I was confused. That's how I learned it at home. And on top of that, I was overweight, not to say morbidly obese. That's me a couple of years ago. No joke, that's actually me. So you can imagine, as a child who talks differently, who looks differently than other kids, I got bullied, and bullied a lot. So this was me living in a family where all other family members were born in a different country. I was the only one born in Germany. And at school, I was the only one who pronounced Christian in a funny way. So I tried everything. I tried to change the way I speak. I tried to change the way I look. I tried to fit in. But it didn't work. I still spoke differently. I still was overweight. I still did not fit in. Fast forward 15 years later. I graduated from university and moved to China. Here I met a Chinese girl and we married. I soon started my first job, and out of boredom, I did a video about how it is to live as a German son-in-law in a Chinese family. I put on a wig, spoke some Shanghainese, 上海舞, and made this video. And this video went viral. People loved it. Overnight, millions of people watched this video. And I said, wow, that's amazing. So I continued doing videos. For a long time, I posted one video after another. I learned what works and what not. I learned about hooks and thumbnails and visuals. And somewhere along the way, 10 million people followed me. I worked with companies like Alibaba, Volkswagen, and Google. And when the German president came to China in 2019, he invited me to be part of his delegation. My face was on ads in the Shanghai metro. I met Lang Lang, the famous pianist. I interviewed Nicole Kidman, the Hollywood superstar. And I did videos with Logan Paul. And here's the irony. That kid who spent his whole childhood trying to hide the fact that he was different, he became famous in China precisely because he was different. The foreign face, the accent, the outsider perspective, the exact things I was ashamed of were the reason why 10 million people started watching my videos. So that's step number one of finding your own place. Stop hiding. I spent years of being ashamed of the way I said Christian, ashamed of my body, ashamed of my multicultural background. And then I realized that's not my weakness. That's actually my greatest strength. I don't hide it anymore. I'm proud of it. And I want each and every one of you to also be proud of the things that make you different. So here I was, living my best life. As you can see, I lost most of my weight, 60 kilos. I was traveling the world, meeting fascinating people, and making good money on the way. Everything was going great. And then, after 12 years, my marriage ended. And because I had built my life in public, it didn't end quietly. It ended in front of millions of people. The internet had opinions, a lot of them. Brands pulled out, I lost my income, my traffic crashed. One day, you're interviewing Nicole Kidman. The other way, you have to read comments from strangers online that are telling you what a terrible, terrible person you are. And it hurt, because now I was alone in a strange country. My mother still in Germany, so no shoulder to cry on. So I did what every adult with a strong and healthy mindset would do. I ran away from my problems. I went to Thailand in a boxing camp. This camp, some might call it a prison, was in the middle of the jungle. No alcohol, no cigarettes, no outside visitors, no fun, just trading 6 days a week, 6 hours a day. And I remember lying awake at night and thinking, do I have to leave Shanghai? Will I ever make money again? Will anyone love me ever again? That's when I picked up a book by one of the greatest philosophers of our time, Curtis James Jackson, aka 50 Cent. When he was 25, 50 Cent was shot 9 times by a gun. After that, he was blacklisted by every recording studio in the US. And what did he say? After I got shot 9 times at close range and didn't die, I thought I must have a purpose in life. And from then on, he lived by what he called the fearless approach. It says, everything negative is a positive. the bad things that happen to me, I somehow make them good. That means you or the world can do anything to hurt me. And I thought, if a man who got shot 9 times at close range can say that, maybe I can handle some mean comments on the internet. So I started making every negative in my life into positive. If I couldn't do social media the way I did it before, fine, I would start my own business. And that's what I did. Today I help Western businesses to understand and navigating the tech and innovation and robotics world in China. I interview founders who, like me, are building between Asia and the West. People who live at the nexus of different worlds. I went from reading mean comments at 2 a.m. to building a business that exists exactly because I don't belong to either side. And that's step 2 in finding your own place. Embrace the collision. When life hits you in the face, don't run from it. Well, you can run to Thailand first, but then come back and build something great. But here's what nobody tells you. Once you stop hiding and start to embrace the collisions, something strange happens. You start looking for more collisions. After I rebuilt my life, I decided not to do the same things I did before. I started doing things that terrified me. And I was always in front of the camera, but never on stages because I hated it. I was afraid of it. So I said, I have to do exactly this. So I started doing stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy in Chinese in front of Chinese audiences. Imagine a German guy with a Soviet, Russian, Kazakh background doing stand-up comedy in Chinese. If that's not a collision, I don't know what is. I remember my first time on the comedy stage. My hands were shaking, my Chinese felt so terrible, and there was this moment right before I went on stage where I said, no, I don't belong here. What am I doing here? Sound familiar? But I went up anyway, and some jokes landed, and most of them absolutely did not land. But I felt more alive than I had in months, because that's what happens at a nexus. When you stop running from collisions and start running toward them, you find the place where you grow the most. So that's step 3. Seek out more collisions. Don't wait for life to push you into uncomfortable places. Go there yourself. Learn a language that scares you. Go into a room where nobody looks like you and say yes to things you're not prepared for. That's why I'm standing here today. I'm still terrified of public speaking, and I didn't sleep very well last night, but if this collision can give some inspiration to some people here, it's worth it. One more thing from 50 Cent. This time not from a book, but from a song. I'll take you to the candy shop. No. This was a different song. This one. Sunny days wouldn't be special if it wasn't for rain. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. So here is what I want you to take away from today. Number 1, stop hiding. Number 2, embrace the collisions in your life. And number 3, seek out more collisions. I want to go back to the boy in the schoolyard in Germany, the one who was too ashamed to say Christian the way he learned it at home. If I could tell him one thing, I would say that you are hiding, Don't stop rolling it. It's not your weakness. It's going to take you places you can't even imagine right now. And the next time my mom calls me and asks me, Thomas, warum bist du in China? Thomas, what are you doing in China? I finally have an answer, because this is my nexus.